Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'll be showing you my games from the latest Asia Weekly tournament. Now I haven't played in an Asia Weekly tournament or any kind of competitive TCG tournament in a while, so I decided to use the deck that required the least skill possible, which is Kave Bloom. Or at least, so I thought, because turns out you actually need skill to play this deck. Who would have thought? Anyway, I don't change my starting hand at all because there's literally nothing to change. And as you can see, I'm using the variant of Kave Bloom with 3 arcane cards, and the rest of the deck is just 3 dice cost cards. Now there is a variant which I covered in my previous video, which uses Mausoleum as well as Kusava as well. But I know how terrible my luck in tournaments can be, and I do not want Kave discarding either of those. Like, I bet the moment I use that deck, Kave is going to discard Kusava for me and deal 1 damage. I don't want to deal with that, so that's why I'm using this deck. Anyway, my opponent here, Yoisuke, he starts by switching over to the Serpent. And this is I already made my first mistake here, which was starting on Furina. See, my opponent is pretty smart with the way they play this, so by switching on their very first move and switching back here again, they make sure that I end my round first. And by doing this, they make sure that they don't give me any blooms on round 1. And both Hydro instances from Furina's summon are wasted because, like, in the end I only get 1 Hydro element applied. So there I really should have started on like Kave or Narwhal and then switch back and forth as well, just like they did. Because I do have 2 remaining dice which I did not use. I only need 6 dice for skills and I can spend 2 on switching, and I floated 1 die, so that's not good. Anyway, here I just went for that, and unfortunately it doesn't kill the Scorpion, which means now they can use the Scorpion's burst, and this is really going to hurt. Oh yeah, and they also put in Adeptus Temptation because why not? Now Kave is on 2 HP, which is terrible because now I can't use his burst, which I would very much like to. Because the moment I use his burst, he's gonna die, and if Kave dies, the game is lost. So that's why I switched to Furina there. And I just use a normal attack to take out the Scorpion. Perhaps I should have switched to the Narwhal straight away to use the Narwhal's elemental skill, which would have created another Dendro Core as well. But since I knew this was already going to apply Hydro for me, I didn't go for that. Now going into round 3. So far it actually looks okay for me. As you can see, it deals another 5 damage there. But that's not how it actually is, because it's not what it looks like, because I still have 2 of these. And their Narwhal is now at 12 HP, which is absurd. They start by doing that and they get more cards from that, which equals to more HP for their Narwhal. I use my Legend of Vanessa in order to get 9 dice, which gives me 3 attacks. Because normally I only get 2 attacks at most with 6 dice, and another 2 for switching. But with 9 dice, if I don't switch at all, I can attack 3 times, which is great. They use their elemental skill here, just dealing a ton of damage. And now I plunging attack onto Kave, so that they can't get another electro charge off. Although, I mean, they can get 1 more here, but that's it. So before, just like at the start of round 3, I had more HP than them, and now that's not the case anymore, because now they have 10 HP while I have 5. And they're not even done, because now they get 1 more dive, I mean actually 2 more, thanks to that. And now they use their elemental burst, which is just enough to take out both my characters here at the end of round 3. So from this game I learned that I should not start on Furina, and I should use both my dice, both of my extra dice to switch around, so that I can end my round last and hopefully guarantee myself a bloom. Now going into the second round, we're up against Small One here, who is using the exact same deck, because like 11 out of 36 participants are using this deck, and anyone who's not using this deck probably lost already.
Need a hand?
Anyway, here I learned from my previous game and I started on Kave. Although I really should have started on the Narwhal instead, and you'll see why in a bit. So I had the right idea but not quite the right execution. So this time they start on the Serpent. So unlike my previous opponent, they just straight away start on Serpent, which I don't know, is it the right thing to do? Because they do start first, so no matter what, I will get to end my round last. Anyway, now I switch to Furina, as planned. They just do more stuff, which I did not really pay attention to. Now they switch to the Scorpion, clearly trying to go for the Scorpion's elemental skill, and next round they want to get its burst. Now I was really surprised to see them just end their round here on the Scorpion, because this means that Scorpion's gonna die. I just switched to Kave here. And here I used Legend of Vanessa to get a 4th die, and I made sure I had enough cards left to tune these dice so that I can use Kave's elemental skill. And the reason for that is because I need to end my round on Furina. Had I just ended my round on Kave there, after the Scorpion dies, the Serpent will come in, and it can easily deal 8 damage with using its elemental burst to take out Kave. In fact, when playing against this deck, usually the Serpent is able to deal 10 damage using its burst. Using like Adeptus Temptation, Emblem of Severed Fate, I don't know, they just have all that somehow. So that's why I made sure to end my round with Furina. Now we do a little bit of switching around, and until I finally hit them with the Narwhal. And now, they indeed do go for their burst, which, I don't know, I was really surprised to see because sure that takes out the Narwhal, but now Kave can come out for free and get a free bloom. And this is really good for me, of course. So now the Serpent definitely can't stay in because he'll die to my summons, and that's why they switch to the Narwhal here. But I get to end my round first, and that just means that now I can get another bloom at the start of next round. So really that elemental burst on the Narwhal was just a huge mistake. Going to the next round, again I use Legend of Vanessa to get 9 dice, so that I can attack 3 times. And of course I am just planning to attack with Kave. And I make sure to keep enough cards to tune my dice if I need to, so that I can normal attack twice. I also use Day of Resistance just to really make sure I win this. I do not want to throw here. I tune it in this way, I attacked it in this way using my dice like how I did because I wanted to save 3 Electro dice just in case I wanted to use Plunging Strike. And I could have finished it off with the Plunging Strike, but I decided to just normal attack. Now going into round 3, we are going up against Cider here, who's again using the same deck. Wow, so much variety in this meta. Oh well, anyway. Once again, we changed nothing in our starting hand, and we start on Kave again because at this time, I had not realized that starting on Kave was a mistake. So again, they start on the Scorpion, the Serpent, and they're gonna use the Elemental skill first to draw a Bone Cruncher as well as some cards. They do a lot of stuff here. You have no idea how long I had to wait for this man to make a move. I was pretty happy to see one Adeptus Temptation go, because that means it's less likely for them to one-shot my Kave later on. He also made the mistake of using that to remove 1 energy from the Serpent. As you can see, they just get another one back. And even if they didn't, next round they could have just used the Bone Cruncher to get 1 energy for free, so really that was completely useless.
Come at me.
What I really should have done was save my Arcane point for Day of Resistance. Because remember from the first game that the Scorpion's burst really hurts, and the Day of Resistance card really counters that. Yeah, I'm just rolling for Dendro dice, which is why I just rolled all the Hydro dice away as well. Oh yeah, and also there was no point in getting rid of the energy because the serpent just dies. So yeah, that was a completely wasted arcane card. And now the scorpion is going to come out and beat my ass. So they just use the elemental skill, get 2 energy. And now I use my elemental skill from Kave. I tune a lot of cards just to get more HP on the narwhal first. Wait, I don't use the elemental skill in Kave because there's a chance of Adeptus or Emblem of Severed Fate to just one-shot my Kave. So that's why I switched to a narwhal. And I raised its HP first just to make sure I'm extra safe. Now I just apply Hydro on the scorpion while also dealing a decent amount of damage, I guess. Now my plan is to switch to Kave and use my elemental skill. But they really surprised me by pulling out the Hilicho, which would kill Kave because this deals 3 damage and the Thunderbolt Trap deals 2, which is 5 damage. So that's why I normal attacked with Furina instead. And unfortunately this means that the Scorpion gets to stay alive. Now going to the next round. For now, my characters still look pretty healthy. You know, okay, actually I don't have more HP than them, but I mean it's kind of close. But again, there's still this Thunderbolt Trap, and the worst part about it isn't even the 2 damage. It's the Electro application. Like if it was just 2 damage with no element, this would actually be fine. But I mean, of course, it must have an element. Oh god, that hurts. And all of a sudden, all my HP is gone. How fun. I use Legend of Vanessa again to get 9 dice. I make sure to heal up my Narwhal a bit here so that it survives the Thunderbolt Trap. But it's really not enough. And you might be thinking, well, they only have 2 attacks left. No, actually they have 3 attacks left because of those 2 things. Oh my god. So there's really nothing else I can do here. I just attack a bit more. And I face my inevitable doom because the Thunderbolt Trap just destroyed me completely.
Am I...
Sight clear.
I have to say though, that was a lot of damage.
So many things I never accomplished.
Now going into the 4th game, we're going up against the same deck, but it's the better version of my deck. And the reason it's better is because, well, first of all, Mona doesn't hit your own characters like Furina does, while still applying Hydro twice. In fact, she protects your characters. And also they have Kusava and Mausoleum, which is, well, just theoretically better. But remember how I said I don't want to deal with Kave's elemental skill discarding a card that does not cost 3 dice and it just ends up dealing like no damage? Just keep that in mind. Not spoiling anything, but just keep that in mind.
Come at me.
Now they just go for Mona and Kave's skills straight away, unlike me who's like switching around to end my round last. And they do this because they can just switch back to Mona and Mona can just tank all the damage, and in fact she actually survives because of her elemental skill. So again, another reason why Mona is just better than Furina. Now going to the next round, obviously they're going to switch to Kave and just use his elemental skill on my Kave, but I calculated that he should be able to survive with 1 HP here. So that's why I wasn't too worried. And then they pull out Tandoori Chicken and all hope is lost.
Scanning.
At least, only if they draw a 3 dice cost card, which they don't. They draw a Mausoleum and this deals 2 damage only. So, all according to plan, my Kave survives on 1 HP.
Sight clear.
Although, by a different route. I use my Arcane card right away to make sure their Kave can't burst. Because if he gets to burst and gets all those burst scans, it's just over.
My reckoning has come.
They sacked Mona there because, well, they were out of dice, so they had to sack someone. And they're certainly not going to sack Kave. Now they send out the Narwhal. And here I used my that card I don't know the name of to change Furina state and heal all my characters. And that heal gave me 4 HP, which is crazy. And that's why I used Furina over Mona, because of that heal. Although I only got to use it like in this game, so was it really worth it? Who knows. They tuned a bunch of cards to just get more HP, and now they use Passing of Judgment while they can. As for me, the Passing of Judgment actually kinda sucked because that means I can't use Plunging Strike anymore, which would have been sick with Kave because now with his burst up, his normal attack deals Dendro damage. But oh well, I don't get to do the sick stuff anymore. I just have to switch to him normally, like a peasant. They switched to Kave but they have no dice, no cards left, so I just switch back to the Narwhal. Because there's no way they can switch off of him anymore. And I just take my win here. With 2 burst scans and a Dendro Core coming up, this is just going to take out the Narwhal instantly. Or I mean, it should, but for some reason the game only does it 1 at a time. Which actually, not for some reason, I'm glad it does it 1 at a time, otherwise it would be kinda broken. More broken than it already is. But it's fine, at the start of next round it's just going to take out the Narwhal, right? Yeah, no, because I Forbidden Knowledge. Oh my god. I didn't roll my dice there because I thought their Narwhal was just gonna die, without realizing that I had Forbidden Knowledge. Thankfully, a single elemental skill from my Narwhal is still enough to take out theirs, so all good. GG. Now for our 5th and final game, we're going up against the same deck again. Yeah. It's so interesting. This meta really is so interesting. Anyway, since I didn't change my starting hand at all in like the past 4 games, I just changed it for fun here, and I did not get anything better because there is nothing better. Okay, maybe like the Plunging Strike could be somewhat better, but really I'm just gonna tune it anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. This time I make sure to start the Narwhal, and once again, they start on the Serpent. And they're gonna use their elemental skill first to just draw more cards. So that means it's perfectly fine to send out the Narwhal because your Narwhal won't die to their Serpent skill or anything. You only deals 2 damage. Even with Thunduri, you only deals like 4. And if for some reason they start with the Scorpion, immediately Thunduri chicken you with their skill. I mean, that's just weird. And honestly, I feel like you might win if they do that. Like still. Anyway, before I started going on that tangent, they just did a bunch of stuff, and now they're going to end their round on the Scorpion, which is great for me, because now I can just switch to Kave here. They end their round, and this is a guaranteed 10 damage on the Scorpion, taking it out. Yep. How nice. This is why I love this deck. Although it does deal 1 damage to myself. Can you not? Like, please, goddamn. So going to the next round, I don't have to worry about the Scorpion anymore. So remember how I said I need to keep Day of Resistance to protect myself from its burst? Well, I don't need it anymore. So now I just need to pray that they don't have like some weird stuff to somehow deal 10 damage to my Kave. But they do have that weird stuff, so that's just unfortunate. Now I have to send out my Narwhal, because obviously I don't want to get sword, and Narwhal just deals more damage as well. At least once you get a bunch of stacks on it up. Which I do, instantly. Not just for the HP, but also for the damage. Get as much HP as I can, and then I start attacking. They use their elemental skill again. And now with 1 energy, they end their round here because they're planning to just use a Bone Cruncher next round, get 2 energy instantly, and burst my Narwhal away. But of course I don't let that happen by taking away that one energy it had. Now with the Scorpion at 2 with the Serpent at 2 HP, this is pretty good because now it's low and the Serpent is kind of their main damage dealer at this point. Well, not anymore because it's almost dead. So now they switch to Narwhal because they don't want it dying, of course. You switch to the Narwhal, right? Yes, okay. There we go. And now I equip Shimenawa. So what Shimenawa does is that when you have 2 energy or more, your elemental skills and normal attacks deal +1 damage. So that's why I used my elemental skill first, because +1 damage before using my burst. It also discounts your skills by 1 die for once per round, so I was able to pull that off with just 8 dice. Perfectly. And now this thing is going to attack twice, so I just end my round and take the win here. They also couldn't use their cards to get more HP on their narwhal by tuning them because they had no dice left to tune. So all in all, a pretty nice victory. GG.